What's up, everyone? It is the Divine Duelist, and today I'm back to you guys with another deck profile. This is a cubic deck profile, which I did the same profile a while back on cubics. The only thing is that it was really bad. Like I messed up on the combo and stuff. But yeah, this is for the March 2019 format, so I changed it up a bit. Not too much, and I also don't have a side deck right now, which is unfortunate. But if I make another video on cubics, for sure I'll have a side deck. But for now, I don't, unfortunately, but yeah, before I start, I'd like to give a huge shout out to my friend Carlos, who hooked it up with this field center. He recently had a giveaway on his channel, or on his Instagram. So this is Instagram right here. Be sure to show him some support. Yeah, he's come out in like two of my videos already. He's made great decks. I recently posted one with Salaman Greats, and before it was Goki. So yeah. Show him a lot of support. He's almost at 400 followers. Please be sure to show him some support. Get him to 400. He's helped a lot with this channel and pretty much just me in total, and me in general. Yeah, but without further ado, let's just get started. So we're gonna start off with the 3-ofs of each cubic monster. It starts off with the basics, 3 of Vigim Cubic Seed. This is a really good defense card, and it's really good for a level 1 monster. So basically what its effect is that it can be destroyed by battle, and by the end of the damage step, if it battled a monster, you can put it in the Spiral Trap Zone to put a cubic counter on your opponent's monsters that attacked it. Monsters with cubic counters can't attack and their effects are negated. So that includes like every card. Every card that involves a cubic counter to be placed on the monster, any cubic counter involves not being able to attack and their effects being negated. So yeah, it's overall just a really good defense card. And on top of that, you don't even have to put it in the Spiral Trap Zone to negate. So you could just keep it on the field for it not to be destroyed. And your opponent basically just has no other choice but to, pass, or maybe they have an out to it. But yeah, it's overall just a really good defense card, and I really like it. And it helps to stall, especially when you want to get your OTK material out. For our next card, of course, probably the best level 4 monster in this deck, Do the Meter Cubic Vessel. Duza lets you get to your materials quicker, and basically just lets you get the LTK. When it's normal special summon, you get to send a cubic card that includes a spell, trap, or monster to the graveyard. And if a cubic monster gets sent to the graveyard while Duza's face up on the field, it's a quick effect. You get to activate it, and he gains 200 attack points for each monster with a different name in the graveyard. So it's a really good card, and you can pretty much OTK with that card too if you don't have the boss monster, which... Speaking of the boss monster, we have 3 copies of the Crimson Nova Dark Cubic Lord. Best boss monster in the game, in my opinion, besides Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Sorry. So basically, its effects are like, to special summon it, you reveal 3 cubic monsters with different names from your hand to special summon it. So that includes himself. You can reveal himself and 2 other cubic cards with a different name. But you can't reveal like 2 other Crimson Nova. No, there has to be 3 with different names. On the field, when it destroys a monster, you get to attack again, and on top of that, it's unaffected by any monster's effects whose original attack points are 3,000 or lower. So yes, that does include Effect Felder and Ghost Ogre, and pretty much every other monster in the meta right now. So it's overall just a really good card to so your opponents can't really affect it. And at the end of your turn, so not your opponent's but just yours, both players take 3,000 effect damage. So it's overall just a really good burn card too. And for our 1-ofs of cubics, we have 1 Garaguya, the Cubic King, 1 Endura Doomvolt, the Cubic Emperor, and 1 Buster Gundal. Gara, I use him for his, you send 1 face-up cubic monster from your field to the graveyard, and it burns when it's special summon. It deals 800 damage to your opponent. And after it battles, you get to send it to the graveyard to special summon 2 Vision Cubic Seeds from your graveyard, which I've only used that probably once. You won't use that effect. These you summon out with mostly the Trap, Unification, and Cubic Lords. But you can also special summon them by sending 3 cubic monsters on the field to the graveyard. But when they're sent to the graveyard, you get to special summon up to 3 cubic monsters from your graveyard to your field, and you get to add 1 cubic card from your hand. So it's just a really good search engine. And that does it for our cubics. For our next monster, we're gonna have 3 copies of Summoner Monk. It basically lets you get to your Duza as quick as you can. And yeah, you can even summon Summoner Monk. You have rank 4s in this deck, so it's overall just a really good card for that too. 2-ofs, I do main Danko Seka still. I don't know if I did in the last deck profile. I kind of forgot what I had last deck profile. But it's overall a really good card, especially because it's a level 4 and a lot of decks are setting. So like Salamangreats, they set a lot too, like the Salamangreat Roar and stuff. So it's a really good card to bring out, especially if you're able to special summon the boss monster, the Cubic Lord, and Denko Sekka. If you normal summon Denko Sekka and you're able to special summon the boss monster, you're good. And for our last monster, we have one copy of Gen X Ally Birdman. I cannot stress enough how much you need this card in the deck. If you don't want to run it, that's up to you. But to me, it's a really good card because it allows Unification of Cubic Lord to trigger when you return, like, say, Duza to your hand to special summon it, and then you get to special summon another Duza from your deck to the field to get into your synchro play. Really good card. So yeah, that's going to do it for our monsters, and let's move on to our spells. So for our spells, we pretty much play the basic cubic spells. Cubic Karma, I use it for just 2 effects. The first effect is to target 1 cubic monster, send up to 3 Vision Cubic Seeds from your hand or deck to the graveyard, and it gains 800 for each cubic seed set. And its other effect where if it's in the graveyard, you get to banish it and add 1 cubic monster from your deck to your hand. So it's a really good effect. The other effect is kind of irrelevant. I'm not going to go over it. You guys can go over it if you want, but it's because no one really uses it. For our next cubic card, we're going to 3 cubic ways. It allows you to get the OTK quicker. And even in the graveyard, you can. So basically, its effect is you target 1 cubic monster you control and 1 monster your opponent controls. Your cubic monster's attack points double, and the monster your opponent controls half points half. And in the graveyard, you get to banish it. And another cube, and any number of cubic monsters, target that many monsters on your opponent's side of the field, and their effects are negated. So you could like banish this along with 3 cubic monsters, and you get to target 3 monsters from your opponent's side of the field. Really good card. Another really good spell I have is Foolish Burial Goods. It's like basically like having 3 Duzas, because with Duza you mainly want to send the spells, and sometimes even Unification, but mainly the spell. So it's technically like having 6 Duzas. You get to you basically just send your Cubic Karma most of the time with this. So it's really good. And I do main Twin Twisters in this deck, and I run 3. Twin Twisters is really good, and I see no problem with it. Maining it, sometimes I'll side it out, like if I'm not running against a deck that's not running backboard too much. But other than that, it's a really good card because you get to discard like your spells as well as cost. So even if it doesn't get negated, like you get to discard a Karma or Unification or even a Wave. So it's really good. And you are running a combo deck, so it's only natural that you run 3 Called by the Graves. It's just overall just to block out the Ash or any other hand trap like Effect Filler. Really good card just in general. It's pretty basic for any combo deck. For our 2 ofs, we're running 2 Mind Control. Really good to extend your extend your plays a little bit more. Like, you know, get into more Link monsters. And if all you draw, like, say, is a Duza, you get to send in Unification or take control of your opponent's monster, send in Unification, and then just get into your Link plays from there. For 1-ofs, we have Monster Reborn and as well as Sky Striker Hornet Drones. Someone questioned about Sky Striker Hornet Drones to me at my locals, but I run it because it's pretty much also just an extender play. It's really good because you get to discard cards as well with, say, like Phoenix. You get to make Phoenix for the Sky Striker. And another thing I've been doing a lot has been to activate this and then add it back to my hand with Kagari. And if I have Summoner Monk, I'll summon Summoner Monk to discard this and special summon a Duza. So it gives me an extra card. Monster Reborn, I found myself using this one. You can change it for Raigeki if you want. But I found myself using this because I've had a lot of problems where I don't have any more like monsters on my field or anything to stall me. So it'll always be nice to draw like a Monster Reborn to bring back like a Cubic Seed or another Duza if I want one. So it's just a good card for me. And for our And for our last cards, we're gonna run 3 copies of Unification of Cubic Lords. I don't use it for its fusion effect. However, in a graveyard, if a face-up cubic monster leaves the field while this is in your graveyard, you get to banish this and special summon a cubic monster from your deck or hand, ignoring summoning conditions. So yeah, that means you can summon out the Gundial and the Emperor with this, and sometimes even I forgot which one, the Guyao or something like that. Yeah, the Cubic King. It's just overall a really good card. And yeah, that's pretty much it for our main deck. We're going to move on to our extra deck right away. So for our extra deck, for our Link 1 plays, we of course run 1 Sky Striker Ace Kagari. Our Kagari is obviously for our Sky Striker Hornet Drones, and it's just overall a really good card still. For next Link 1, we're running Linkaribo. You do have level 1s. You have the token from the Kagari, or from the Horner Jones, and you also have the Cubic Seed, which I like to bring this out, especially if I already have like a Cubic Lord, a Unification of Cubic Lords in my graveyard, and just link off with it and then special summon like a Duza. So it's overall just a really good card. For our Nightmare package, of course, Nightmare Phoenix, Nightmare Cerberus, and Nightmare Unicorn. These are really good to bring out, especially in this deck, because it's fairly easy, especially because of Unification and Duza. So, yeah, overall, just really good cards. Next Link monster, 1 Underclock Taker, just lets you get to your OTK quicker, lowers your opponent's monster's attack. Trisbania I run because of decks like Altergeist, which I hardly play anymore, and just like trap heavy decks in general. But I hardly use it, but when I do it, when I need it, it comes in handy. Number 27, Dreadnought Dreadnoid, and as well as Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max. If you can get into this, if you're able to special summon two, two Cubic Lords. So if you're going into time and you don't want to like take the damage from the 3000, you could just summon this with 2, or you could summon Dreadnought Dreadnoid, and then just get into Gustav Max with that. And of course, I play the Utopia package, Utopia the Lightning, and Utopia. Pretty much basic. It's won me a lot of games, and yeah. Exciton Knight, rarely bring it out, but I brought it out once, and it was really good. But then again, it didn't let me deal any damage, so it kind of sucked. Abyss Dweller, really good, especially because a lot of monsters activate in the graveyard. So like Salaman Great Spinny, yeah, it's overall just a really good card. Gaga Cowboy, I did have a Nightmare Mermaid, but I took it out because I've seen that I don't see Ibly anymore. I had Mermaid to out the Ibly. But Gaga Cowboy still comes in handy because you do burn a lot, and this pretty much lets you get into Time War. And for our last one as a Synchro is F.A. Don Draxler for the Gen X Ally Birdman. Really good card to bring out. Pretty basic, you know, it negates the Spiral Trap, and just really easy to bring out. And yeah, that's pretty much going to do it for our deck profile. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video. Let me know what you guys thought of it as well. If you guys wanted me to do any other decks in the future, please let me know which ones. And yeah, I'll be sure to like have any friends up here. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.